long prefaces, I will tell you that it is one of these fortresses, 9 fortresses around the city, that were built by the Russian Tsarist government to strengthen Kovno city. Because Kovno, it is close to German border, close to Eastern Prussia, and so they were already expecting that the enemy will come from the Germany, yeah, and they sought to strengthen the city by this fortress. This didn't help in the first. After the war, Lithuania independent republic, they made here this fortress just big. Reason for so for 20 years, reason here this was known for the appointment of the city. Yeah, the visitors used to come here. The prisoners were from the other side, and between them a guard was walking, standing, and so on. So you see that it was built as a real fortification, and you could see from the distance that all these fortresses. Here, the area of Kovna is more hilly than in the rest of Lithuania, and they use the landscape, and these forts, they were built in the hills, into the hills. See, you can see there, you see the grass there, yeah, and you see a stick beton, yeah, a stick arbeit made here, and you see how thick are the walls, and you see Harachei Yeri, how do you say, the shooting windows, in what direction, to the west, where they expect the enemy coming, and so on. You see, this was a real fortress. So, Miftsar, exactly. So, when the Nazis occupy Kovna, they see that this is an ideal place for their crimes. First, it is outside the city. The second, it is a lonely place. And the third, the Jewish ghetto is only 2 miles from here. Okay, so they could even march the people straight here to the shooting place. And so they did. And actually all the actions start at the very beginning of the occupation, but there was on 28th of October 1941 there was so-called Great Action, when all the prisoners of the ghetto, and there were around 30,000 in the Kovna ghetto at the first stage, yeah, they were ordered to come next morning to the place. It is ironical, but the name of the place, Demokratu Aikšte Square, Democrat Square, okay, such a name. And then at 6 o'clock in the morning, they had to stand there, all of them. This doesn't matter. You are sick, you are invalid, or you are not able to go, all had to be there. In the morning, the German policemen and the local policemen, yeah, they checked the houses, and if somebody was found, he was shot on the spot. And there was made a selection. And a German officer, his name was Helmut Rauka, he was sitting, he made all this selection, he was sitting the whole day he worked hard, on a tall chair, and he had a stick in his hand, and the stick showed to everybody where to go, or left or right, left, right.
Like Mengele.
It worked like a metronome in music, you know? Left, right, left, right. Okay. And in one day, 9,200 people were sent to death. Of them, 4,273 children. And you can guess who were the first candidates in that action. So-called non-productive Jews, right? Women, children, sick people, aged people, intelligentsia, In a word, people are not able to work physical work. And not after and not before there were not such a great action, that's such number of people sent in one day. They were sent by foot here to here. That's why it is called a great action. That was on 28, 29 of October 1941. You will see there some pictures when we enter there. So it is a real massacre place. And they were shot not here. They even didn't enter here. There was a fence. You have seen when you stopped there, yeah? There were remnants of the fence. They were sent into the trench. There is such a trench. When we go out, we'll see it, yeah? And this was not for them even. Okay. So let's enter the museum and the exhibition, and we'll speak on the spot there.
What goes inside here? The visitors, they would visit the prisoners. I mean, before when it was used as a prison.
Burns.
Right, so why did they do that?
To stop the stench and to make sure that those who were shot would really be down.
And then why did they decay the body?
No, they just left them there the next day. They brought them to for a pleasure.
You are right. We are in a feminine time. Now, against the Hebrew Dikduk, Chaverin is already not Chaverot. Yes, you have to say Chaverot veChaverin. That's right. Okay, so you see the map. And you see it was built, the ninth fort, finished building in 1911. This is the map of Kovno, and this is the old Russian map. You see written in Russian letters Kovno. Okay, this is the rivers. There are two rivers. Tomorrow you will see all that. Okay, and these are the forts around Kovno, and we are at this place. Now, this was built, this fortress is a real fortress, and as it was customary to build at that time, they had also tunnels, okay, around. They didn't connect with the other forts, but they were around. They had two purposes for these tunnels. One, to escape from the siege, yeah, okay, and another was because there are tunnels, not only tunnels but also cells, and big cells to put in the cannons. Cannons shoot, yeah, okay, and defend, yeah. So the tunnels around here, they are here somewhere here, like this, yeah. They are going 3 kilometers approximately around, and some branch goes quite far away. And this is important for one event that happened here in the ninth fort. We will not go there. It is more, interesting for the children, for the school students, and so on. But you can You hear? It goes far, far away. It goes first up and then it goes some 10 meters deep and so. We will start the story here because there are different stories. Okay? There was an escape, we'll speak about it, and there were different actions, and what happened here. We'll start from this room. And, okay. Yeah.
Up from his getting death march on the way there.
As I told you, that here in the ninth fort, over 50,000 people were perished, and not only Jews, and of them 30,000 Jews, and not only Jews from Kovno, and not only Jews from Lithuania, but also Jews from all over Europe. You will see there will be testimony about the French Jews. This is this room. There will be Jews from Berlin, Jews from Munich, and some other places.
Are those Jews in Savannah?
We'll speak about it also. So, as I told you, they were not even let here in. All was there in the field. But there was one case when about 900 Jews were brought here. And it was towards the end of the war, towards the end of the occupation here, in May 1944. One transport, a train, arrived to Kovno. Seems that it missed the way or something like that, because it had to be sent to Auschwitz, but it came here. And in this train there were about 900 prisoners of the labor camp Drancy near Paris. There was a transit camp, transit lager, okay, in Drancy. There were different prisoners in this camp. Not only French Jews, but there were from Poland, Hungary, Turkey, Algeria, and so on. And they were brought here. And that was the only case when they were put inside. And these people understood that this is their last station. And that is why on here, on this wall, some of them carved their names. Here you see, this is the way, this is the map. So this train made, instead of going to Auschwitz, it continued here, and it arrived to Kovno. Half of them were shot dead here in Kovno in the 9th Fort, and half of them continued for Estonia, Klolka labor camp, but also were buried here. So here, you see some of the names. You see here some of the names. Let's do that all people should see. Here, for example, this one, Jules Hershkovitz, you see? 8th of May 1944, or 18th of May 1944, from Monaco, via Drancy to Kaunus. Kaunus, it is Kovno in Lithuania.
Yeah, Paris.
Paris and Kaunus, yes. Okay. He was from Monaco, and through Drancy, Paris. Or for example here, Max Stern, you see, Max Stern, Paris, the same day, May 18, 1944. Limoges, who is that? Wexler, or somewhere, Emil Bloch, Jerusalemsky, this is the last name, Jerusalemsky. Okay, here, somebody reads French? No? Okay, so this is read in French. Nous sommes 900 Français. We are 900 French people, okay, from France. So this was their last way, and this was their last stop in this world. And this transport was called transport number 73, and here are the names of that 900 people. That is why you see the French flag here. And this room is an example how this place is a good example, maybe or could be or must be arranged the commemoration of those people. You see, they made a huge work. Those who arranged this exposition here, they made a huge work because they collected all the information about those people and even their pictures before the war when they were alive. Not all of them they managed to find here. But you can see here, for example, you see France, Iran is Germany, Ukraine, Poland, Ukraine, Moldavia, Hungary there was, Romania, and so on. Who initiated this exhibition? Of course, their ancestors or relatives. And also, have you heard about Serge Klarsfeld? Yes. Serge Klarsfeld and his wife, Beata, she's not Jewish, yeah? Okay? They were the hunters after the Nazi criminals. They found that the butcher from
Lyon.
No, the butcher
Lyon.
from Lyon, what's his name? Klaus Barbie. Klaus Barbie, yeah, so that's them who found, they also initiated and contributed to this exhibition. So it is really a very good example how to commemorate. And here are, you see, personal, for example, let's take this, okay? Itzhak Abramovich, Isaac Abramovich, born in Romania, yeah, and he came to Paris, he was a violinist, okay? This is before, in that not occupied part of Paris, of France, and then they were given to the Nazi rule. Yes, yeah, okay. In Nice, I think.
Yes.
Nice, yeah. Okay, so this is one of the stories here. Okay? Let's go further. Are you ready to go? Okay, come on. We go to the left. These are stoves, but not for the prisoners. It is for the guards. For the guards. Don't worry. It was not for them. Okay, here, this is the solitary confinement that was used before the war, but also by the Germans. Yeah? It was called, ironically, the health resort cell.
This is not a
Come, please come here. So this room tells us about the very, very unique event that happened here. You see, the Ninth Fort was famous, or maybe we must say infamous, that it was not possible to escape from here. But nevertheless, there was one case. And it was in 1943. I already mentioned in Riga, when we were in Rumbula, that there was a order of Himmler, head of SS, yeah, at the end, the second half of 1943, to dig out the bodies and to burn them. You remember? Okay. So the same was here. And again, who will do this dirty work? The same Jews. The same Jews. Sonderkommando. Okay, they had to do that. Not only Jews were, but Jews were the most of this Sonderkommando. There were 64 people. They had to do that. There were several Russian prisoners of war, some Russians and so on, but most of them were Jewish. And of course, it is a terrible work. They had to dig out the bodies. One of them was so-called dentist. He had to check the gold crowns. Yeah. Okay. There are terrible stories about it. We will not get into the details. But it is a terrible. And they were aware what will happen to them when they finish that work. They are real eyewitnesses, right? They even know how many corpses they have burned. Okay. So they were looking for a way how to escape from here. And they couldn't. They tried to forge somewhere a key from some gate. Nothing helped. And you know, sometimes what helps is just a case, in case, okay, and just an occasion. One of them, one day, he was sick, and he couldn't go out for the work. So when they went out, he stayed here. Now, you feel here, it is humid here, right? So the Germans used to open the door or the gate to the tunnels to ventilate here all the rooms. Yeah? And he secretly entered the tunnel and continued walking. And he is walking. It's already dark, nothing to see. And it seems that he lost his way. And suddenly he sees light from the top. Okay, he succeeded to climb on, and he got out. And he found himself, he understood that he is outside this 9-4. He understood that the Germans don't know about this hole. What did he do? Yes, he somehow camouflated this hole. He came back, not escaped, came back and told his friends. What did he find? And now was clear there is a way. But, one, how to enter, because when they were back here, it was already locked. So how to enter the tunnels? And another question is, when to do that? So, as I told you, they tried to make keys and so on. This nothing helped. But then they found that there is another door, another gate, okay, always locked. But it is a side. And we will go there and you will see how did they manage to do that. And what time, what day did they choose? Christmas. Exactly. December 25th. Okay, 1943. Well, you know, drunk and so on. Oh, okay, this is a good. Okay, and they really succeeded to escape. Not all of them, unfortunately. Of 64, only 22 succeeded to escape because Germans, they discovered this escape very, very fast and started to persecute them, and some of them were shot, some of them were captured, but 22 of 64, it's a lot, okay, succeeded to escape, and they joined the partisans. So these escapers. So they survived the war, all of them, of these 22. And you can see here, I always say that the dry statistics sometimes also can tell the whole story. Here you see, oh, sorry, can I? Here you see, this is the list. 64, this is their age, so you can see 18 years old, but also 58 years old, different. This is where they are coming from. So some of them Lithuanians here, Kaunus a lot, yeah? But there is Leningrad, that today is St. Petersburg, because there were also war prisoners, Russian war prisoners, no, from the Red Army and so on, and their profession, who they are. Yeah, yes, a rabbi also. Okay, a teacher, but also watchmaker and farmer and so on, shoemakers and so on. Yeah, not all of them Jewish. For example, where they are here, 3 brothers Russians who were here, these ones, but they are from Lithuania, but Russians. So they escaped, and here on that side of the room, you can see their pictures already after the war. This, how it is called? The leather, yes. They couldn't take a real leather, so because they had, to roll it and to have it here. This is of the real ones. And some of the people I was acquainted personally to those 2 I knew and so on. Many of them moved to Israel.
Are they still alive?
Already no. This here, he was the leader. Alex Feitelson. He was the leader. He lived in Netanya, and he passed away some 8 or 9 years ago, but I had an honor to guide Israeli school student group, and he was Ish Ed. He was the witness, and he told us the story here and so on. That's it. These barrels were used, this is of oil or solar. How do you say? Solar?
Solar.
Yeah. This was, maybe they were sent from US. It was the Lend-Lease support from the United States for the Russians, yeah? So maybe it was, yes, these buckets, barrels, they were used to burn the bodies. Wow. Yes. Okay, let's go further. They used, and you can already guess how did they go through the other.
What's this one?
And here they
It's a double, I don't know, it's a passage that way.
Okay. Wait for a minute. You can meanwhile look here. Kovno in March 42 in April.
German and Austrian guards. Guards.
So, as I told you, that the Germans occupied Kovno on, actually it was so, that the German tanks crossed Kovno on June 25. And the Soviets, of course, already escaped. So for 2 days, and the Harrison didn't arrive yet, the Harrison of Kovno. Harrison?
Garrison.
Garrison. No, Harrison. Garrison.
Garrison.
Yeah. Heil Matzav. How do you say in English? Heil Matzav. No, Mapito. No. Heil Matzav, it is when the military power in the city, how it's called? Commandant. Garrison. Not Harrison, but Garrison. Sorry. Excuse my French. Okay. So for 2 days, city was left without any power, without any authority. So you understand what a situation is this, yeah? All the criminals and so on, and that was the pogroms, the Jewish pogroms that were in these 2 days in Kovno. One of them, the most known or infamous, Lietukis pogrom, okay, in the center of the city when 670, we don't know exactly the figure, yeah? Between 70 and 80 Jews were killed cruelly. Okay, here, this is near the garages. It was the garage affair. That's the courtyard of the garage. Okay. And one of them was wounded, and you see he wrote by blood, his blood, Eden, Nekome, Jews, revenge. Well, so, this map, I always say that the maps are very, very good because they demonstrate well, they give an idea how it was. This is that area, occupied area by the Nazis. Here, it is already Moscow, and so the front line was quite close to Moscow, yeah? And this is Lithuania, Latvia, Estonia, Belarus, Ukraine. These are the Einsatzgruppen. Einsatz, Hashmada, okay? Extermination. A, B, C, and D. A was for the Baltic region, for the Baltic states. Now here, you see different pictures. These are from that place. These from the ghetto. These are from the ghetto. This bridge was built. I'll show you tomorrow. We will show you tomorrow where this bridge was on the main street, over the main street of the ghetto, and so on. All these pictures. What do you think? Who took these pictures?
The Germans.
No, you have a mistake. No.
Lithuania.
One Jewish prisoner of the ghetto. He was a professional photographer. His name was George Hirsch Kadushin. He had a camera. Of course, it was terribly dangerous to have a camera. For radio set, people were shot on the spot immediately. But he was brave and he made secret. And what is important, he had films. And he made he took the pictures. And he has hidden the films in one dry well. And imagine that he survived the war and he came after the war and he found this well and he found there these films. That is why we have, and this is very important because it is documentary evidence. This is very, very important.
Story from the Lodger ghetto.
Yes, right.
Buried,
Lodge.
and then after the
You
war,
can
he
see
came
him
back.
even here. Here there is a picture of him. Yeah, that's him. And also I would like to show you, yeah, he emigrated to the United States after the war. I want to show you this person, outstanding, you know, to be a head of the Judenrat, okay? It was a terrible role. And many of them, even they, as we will speak in Vilna about Yaakov Gens, okay? Even they tried to do something, okay? It was a terrible. They were the real sadists, or they were, you know, different people are different. But he was a generous person. He was a doctor before the war. That's him with his crew in the Jewish hospital. And he had very great authority. And even Germans paid respect to him, because sometimes they need his help as a doctor, because he was an excellent doctor. And he asked the Germans, he couldn't do too much, of course, that's clear. But he demanded at least to know where people do disappear. He died, not killed, he died in Dachau concentration camp at the end of the war. He was already not young, you know, and he died there. Okay, a bit further.
Just before everybody moves on, you remember that we've spoken a few times, and I mentioned it in Kaidan as well, about the young Zionist movements that were created in the late 19th century, early 20th century. Now, if you have a look in the front over here, there's a newspaper called Volk und Land, which means people and land. And it says at the bottom over here, Merkaz Mizrahi in Lita. This is the Mizrahi newspaper, and if you look closely at the top, it says, in inverted commas, Eretz Israel, La'am Israel, Al Pi Torat Israel, which is Ben Akiva. So this is the origins, and this is where it started in a Yiddish newspaper in the early 20s. This is 1929. You can come and have a look. Volk und Land.
Yeah. Religious life, right? Okay. Let's come here. More pictures from the ghetto, from that period. Jewish police, you know, that in the ghetto was Jewish police. And not all of them were real capo, as we, you know, there is some stereotype that if he was a policeman, a Jewish policeman in the